5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Top,
Here.
Vice Mayor Ho,
Here.
Councilmember Contreras,
I'm here.
Councilmember Doe,
I'm here.
and Councilmember Nguyen.
Yeah.
All members are present.
All right. Do we have any speaker?
I have one speaker, Terry Rains.
Good evening, Terry Rains, Westminster. At 5 p.m. tonight, I received a copy of a late communication for item 5.5 that went out to the City Council just before then, submitted by Steve Sheldon. Thank you, Christine, for sending me a copy. I immediately tried to reach Christine and Alexa by phone, but when I couldn't reach them, I sent an email to them and City Attorney Bettenhausen. The attachments appear to be some version of the two conceptual plans and financial pro formas for Sheldon's proposed Civic Center project. This should not have been accepted by the city or sent out to the City Council as late communication for tonight's meetings. The plans and pro formas are not on the closed session or the open session agenda tonight, nor is any presentation by Sheldon. Therefore, Council is not allowed to consider or discuss the content of this communication at all tonight. If Mr. Sheldon wants to speak during oral communications about something not on the agenda, he can raise his hand and wait just like the rest of us for his 5 minutes. Or he can submit written oral comments and they can be read into the record with the 5-minute limit. There is no way for the city clerk to read a presentation though. One would think Sheldon would know this if he is so experienced dealing with public agencies. Item 2 on the closed session agenda tonight is conference with real property negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8, the property 8200 Westminster Boulevard, Westminster. Under negotiation, price and terms of payment. Because of prior Brown Act violations by this council related to closed session discussions, I will remind you again what you can and cannot discuss during tonight's closed session for this item. The only items that may be discussed are 1, the amount of consideration the city is willing to pay or accept for real property rights to be acquired or transferred in this particular transaction. 2, the form, manner, and timing of how that consideration will be paid. And 3, items that are essential to arriving at the authorized price and payment terms, such that their public disclosure would be tantamount to revealing the information that the exception permits to be kept confidential. In simpler terms, price and terms of payment, period. You may not discuss the presentation made by Steve Sheldon at the August 12, 2020 City Council meeting or this late communication. You may not discuss an extension or other terms of the E&A between the city and Sheldon. You may not discuss any specifics of a development plan. You may not discuss the financial elements of the pro forma documents. All of these matters must be discussed in open session when they're on the agenda. The E&A with Sheldon expired on July 28, 2020, 90 days after the expiration of the prior extension, April 29, 2020. Due to Brown Act violations that occurred during the closed session of the April 22, 2020 City Council meeting regarding extending Sheldon's E&A, the city again discussed that extension publicly at the May 13, 2020 meeting as a formality. However, there was no discussion about changing the start date of the new extension to anything different than April 29, 2020, as outlined in the letter from the city to Sheldon dated April 24th. The agenda backup for the May 13th meeting supports the same dates. The city has never responded to my request for a legal opinion from the city attorney as to why the city has ignored the fact that the E&A expired on July 28, 2020. The city had no further obligation to Sheldon after that date. Any agreement entered into after that date should have been a brand new agreement, which would fall under AB 1486 and offer more protections to the city and its taxpayers. But of course, Sheldon wouldn't want that to happen. Because the city has failed to enforce the terms of this E&A in favor of Mr. Sheldon, the city could face serious legal consequences in the future. Please keep all of this in mind during your closed session discussion tonight. I will elaborate more on these items during oral communications at the regular meeting later on tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. there's anybody else who would like to speak, this is your last chance. I have no one else for public comments. Okay. Okay, so I have no one for public comment. So at this time, what will happen is I will put everyone on hold and we will resume the open session in which I will move you back out of hold. So just bear with me for a second. Okay, so everyone who's here for item number 2, I'm going to put you on hold as well. So when item number 1's done, I'll move you back.